We were discussing how the neshama comes from the level of chachma of Hashem, and we mentioned that the level of chachma is one with Hashem. And we mentioned that how is it that you could have some people more higher level souls and some people lower level souls if everyone comes from the same source. Not only is the level of the neshama different, but even nefesh. There's some people with the level of nefesh that's in a lower level nefesh. The level of ruach, that's a lower level of ruach. The three parts of the neshama, the three lower parts of the neshama are called nefesh, ruach, neshama. There are two higher parts, which we don't even mention, called chaya and yechida. But there are three lower parts of the neshama that each of these levels, there are different, each of these parts of the soul, there are different levels. Some people have a very high level soul, which is interesting because it connects to our Gemara that we learned today, that people who have a high level soul, they should be able to get a high level of Gan Eden, but sometimes they can't reach it because they're too connected to the physical world. And so in order to get the level where they're supposed to get in Gan Eden, they're not able to absorb unless they have Yisurim Shel Ahava. So connecting that with the Tanya, there are different levels of the soul, which means that people have different potentials to where they can reach in their soul can reach. And you would think that if we all come from the same source, we should all be on the same level. And so on this, the Tanya continues, and he says, Mikol Makam, nevertheless, Shayresh kol nefesh, Ruach, Unashama Kulam, Meiroish kol amadregos, Ad Seif kol dargin, the source of all the souls, from the beginning to the end of all levels, which is meaning the lowest level of the soul of the Am Haaretz, the Hamalubish Beguf Amei Haaretz, Kal Shabakalim, the soul that's in the body of just a simpleton, that's a very Kal Shabakalim, like a lowly individual. Nimshach, even that level is drawn from Mayach Elyoin, from the Mayach, the brain of above, which means the level of Chachma. Of course, Hashem doesn't have a brain. It means the level which he Chachma Ilah Kaviyachol. It's the level of Chachma Ilah. And so what we're saying is that every person starts out in the same. We all start from the same source. Kemashal haben hanimshach mimayach ha'av, similar to that example that we gave earlier, that by a child, he's drawn from his father's mind, and ultimately it leads to the mother having this seed in her stomach for 9 months, and then the child is born. And from that seed, there is the fingernails, the toenails, there's the limbs, there's all the parts of the body. It all came from the original source in the mind. But yet, even though it all came from the same source, a person's body is a composite of many different organs. Some have more energy to them, some have less energy to them. So, like the example of the child that comes from the brain of the father, shafilu tzipparnei raglov, even the fingernail, the toenails, nishavu, they are created mitipa zu mamish, from this exact drop. So, through its being 9 months, staying in the mother's womb, and it goes, that drop, which is in general, it encompasses all of the organs of the body. It develops into going through many different levels until it is able to be divided into many different organs, including the hair and the tziparnayim, the nails. The imkol zeh, And together with this, together with this, Teshura umyuchedes beyichud nifla v'yotzum b'mahusa v'yatzmusa harishay. It's connected with its original essence, which was the drop from the father's brain. So, although it changes levels as it comes down and it develops, but nevertheless, its origin is the same. The Gam Achshav, and even now, the Ben and the son, Yenikas Hatziparnayim v'chayusam nimshechas me'amoyach shebaroish. The Yanika, the sustenance of the nails and their energy come from the brain of its own body, and that we'll see why it mentions that in a little while. But Kedeisa b'Gemara, like the Gemara says, that the loiven shemimenu gidim ba'atzamois, that the white part, meaning the father's seed, is called the loiben, it's called the white. What is developed from that? The gidim, the sinews, the atzamais, the bones, the tiparnayim, and the nails. And so this shows that it all comes from the father, those items. It's a Gemara that says, like it says in Eitz Chaim, Shara Chashmal, that besoid levushim shaladam arishin began eden shayir tzipanayim uchinas mayach tvuna. And in Kabbalistic terms, it also mentions that the tziparnayim come from the mayach tvuna, come from the brain. So ultimately, all of these things come from the mayach, and therefore it's possible that a person, we have different levels, but nevertheless, we all come from the same origin. We're going to